Okay, here we have Twitter seeming to be pretty strong on the 5-minute chart and having been weak on the daily chart for quite a while. So I bet that it wouldn't go below that bottom spike there, and it's going up and I just let it go for a couple hours and walked away and with a stop below the bottom spike, and it worked out. Then on the second trade, we have Twitter's on the next day going strong, continuing to go strong. Of course, if I had stayed in, I would have made a lot more, but I don't hold things overnight as a rule. So here I'm taking a profit within 7 minutes, a couple $100, based again on the placing the stop below that bottom spike on the 5-minute chart there at the top left. So you see that bottom spike? It didn't go below that. The third trade is another Twitter trade, betting that you see on that bottom left chart where there's that red line sloping across downward. I was betting that it wouldn't go below that again, that it had bounced off of it, and as you see, it's about to prove me right, but I just took quick profit on it in 2 minutes, 119.90. So that was the third trade in a row, and as we'll see, I'm being very transparent here. So one of my trades is just going to be pretty much a break even, a tiny bit of a profit, but this will be the third successful trade in a row, and it did what I thought it would do, is go up, bounce off of that sloping 200 moving average. Now we move on to the fourth trade, which is a 4-minute trade for $200 or so. Here we have eBay doing very well on a given day, namely the 28th, and you see how it's just all green, so that's a nice trade to just bet that it's going to keep going up, and I put the stop at 60.26, which is below, again, that bottom spike. If you take a look at that top left chart, you see that bottom spike, and it did in fact go up, and it went up a little more than what I took it at. You rarely get profits exactly as high as it goes, but in this case I got $213 in 4 minutes. And then we go to the fifth trade, where I just make $50 in a minute, based on the notion again that the price is going to bounce off of the 200-day moving average on the 15-minute chart at the bottom left. You see there, like that other trade, but I just took the quick 1-minute scalp on this one because I had a sense that the momentum, there's just too much resistance. If you take a look above it, just too much resistance. Go to trade 6, which is just going to be a break even, just $2-3. If you call that a pro, I mean, you could get some chewing gum these days for that, but and it did take 46 minutes to break even on that, but that's the way it goes, I was basing my trade on a sense that that it had just been a pullback after a long time of going up, and it truly was, but I was happy with just breaking even on that. And then the final trade is just a quick 1-minute scalp again, where you have a sense that if you look at the top left chart, where the stock is dropping just below the 20-day moving average, and you see how it dropped down to support, because look at how far down the price is to the left of where it is there, where I'm pointing to with the cursor. I allowed it to go down to there, and then you see that bottom tail. That is a good sign, suggesting it's going to keep going up. So, and it did, and ended up with $941.78 in 3 hours of trading, and about a profit, and 7 successful trades in a row. And that's about it. I'm going to get back to writing my book, but I just wanted to give you a little sample of what I'm talking about. And you can decide whether it was pure luck or not. Thanks. Today again, Facebook looked pretty good. In this first trade, just a scalp for close to $200 based on that bottom tail on the 5, the top left, and on the 15 on the bottom left, here above the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, and way above the 200-day moving average. The second trade, barely made anything. Just got out and was lucky to get out without a loss. It just didn't work my way. I was basing it on the same 20-day moving average, but the cues were looking on the top right were looking a little bad right there. You see that, how it went below the previous 5-minute bar, and that caused it to go way down before after I got out. So that was a good thing I got out with a tiny bit of a gain. Here make about $30 or so, basing it on a pullback, and just a kind of impressionistic pullback, which I'll occasionally engage in every once in a while for a tiny loss, but in this case a bit of a gain. And here 45-minute gain with a 1-minute scalp. And notice right there the long tail, the top left graph, very healthy, and it worked my way. This was a long trade. I think I took a nap for 20 minutes or so, waiting for things to pan out. Based on that, things went way down, and have that nice bottom tail that I went off of and made a good profit. Here another one, not too much, but again a good one to get out of before things fell out. This is a day where the whole market was down close to 200, so it's good to make anything, really. $50 in a minute, based on, again, the pullback with some nice support in both the 5 and the 15-minute chart, and the Apple looking up, which gave me a nice momentum indicator, which I like to use. And a couple more trades on this day. 4th of June, 2015. Or actually one more, $43 trade, close to 20 minutes. Things were just looking a little squirrely at the end. Market looked a little insecure. It wasn't by any means popping up. So I just took a small profit on it, and altogether for the day, believe it or not, based on how little we made on each of those trades, close to $500 in 48 minutes of active trading, and 8 for 8 again. So that's 15 for 15 in 2 days in the last 2 videos. And we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Here on day 3, the market isn't that exciting, so I went in and out on a few scalps with a little bit of profit and then called it a day. So here it was just playing on strength, jumping in for a small profit, basing it on the drop on the market. On the top right graph there, you see the SPY was dropping, but then it started going up again, so got out. So $42 profit on 2 minutes here, where you see the market kind of bouncing back there on the top right. You see that bottom tail. So then I bet that Facebook, which was very strong relative to the market, would go up, and it did a little bit. And then here again you have Facebook, 4-minute trade, just a little bit of profit. Again, basing it on a recovering market. And eventually I just took this little scalp. So day 3 was not too exciting. Made 200 on day 4 and just a little bit of trading. Here you see $65 in 24 minutes, and that kind of gives you some idea about the choppiness of day 4 as well. We're really leading up to day 5 though, which is going to be the doozy, and worked out really well. So here another 20-minute trade for $50 profit, which is not that exciting. So days 3 and 4 again are not that great as far as the market goes. You see the choppiness there in the top right chart. Now the third trade, again, just for a little bit of profit, based on strength, again with Netflix, which was looking real strong. And then the fourth trade, again in 1 minute, 20-minute, $20 profit, ending the day with about $200 and a few, in 50 minutes of trading. But again, here on day 5 is when things really picked up. I made $1,500 in 11 minutes of trading in 3 trades, and this will be the last day of my trading on these videos. So trade 1 made almost $1,000 in 4 minutes, and you see how it was at the opening bell, and Netflix was looking real strong. The market was seeming like it wanted to go up, if you see on the top right graph, and from here on up, just watch how it goes up 200 and 3, 4, all the way up to about 1,000 when I took my profits. So this was the strongest trade out of the 5 days by far. And it's always fun to, when in 4 minutes of trading you can make close to $1,000. But you have to make sure to take your profits. That's the key. So here it's just jumping on the train, riding upwards, but it could drop just as easily downwards. So you don't want to ride it too long, but you want to ride it long enough to take your profits. So you see the steady increase. And look at the volume there, that big green bar. In the top left chart, the 5-minute chart, volume is just out of this world. So up to 600 profit. Up into the 3rd minute, 4th minute. And we're going to end the trade with $975 profit. Then the second trade of the day will be for close to $500 profit in 6 minutes. And again, things pretty steadily rose, but I wanted to take my profits before they dropped again. And as with the first trade, we have a steady increase, and you notice all that positive volume down there on the top left chart at the bottom, those green bars. But you see the volume is flagging off a little. So you want to be careful. Take your profits. Don't assume things are going to keep blasting upward, but you do benefit from it if you get in at the right time and get out at the right time. Up to 300, up to 400, 450, 500, and took the profits at $470.61 in 6 minutes, and now finally $100 in 1 minute to cap it off. But at the same time, noticing it's getting close to lunchtime in New York, 8:30 Pacific. So I just wanted to take this for a quick scalp. But you notice there's a lot of red going on as well in Netflix. So the honeymoon is over, and take the $100 profit, and then you call it a day instead of get greedy and lose your profits. That's the key. It's not as easy as it sounds, and on this day I wanted to do just that, and that's the end of this 5-day kind of experiment where I wanted to just give you an idea about how day trading works, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along for the ride.